Hello everyone, what's up warrior students? Today we are going to talk about a requested topic, and we're going to talk a little bit about gearing up as a DPS warrior, and as a little bonus I will tell you a little bit about consumables and world buffs. I don't know every item in the game, so if I miss an item that's bad, but yeah, I think I can give you some general tips about the things. I looked up one or two biz lists and they don't have any items on them that I am not aware of, so this probably might still be worth the informations, this video I mean. So let's first talk about this helmet. This is the brutal helm. This is not best in slot, but it's a pre-biz best in slot, so before you step in the raid this is best in slot, and this comes from a warrior crest line. There's an alternative, a leather one that you can buy off the auction house. If you're horde, if you're alliance, you would need to buy it off the cross-faction auction house, if anything. And this is like Humbat's helm or something, but it's way too expensive. This one comes from a quest line called Brutal Armor. The first quest in this quest gives you this chest piece, which is nice for tanking and PvP because it has high stamina, and the on-use effect gives you 30 rage, so you can pop this before the fight begins, and then you swap to your normal chest piece and you start the fight with like 30 rage extra, which can come in handy, especially because we play with consumed by rage and you want to get to this 80 rage threshold as soon as possible. If you combine this chest piece with like a rage potion and blood rage, you will be instantly on your consumed by rage threshold, basically. One problem is that if you have blood rage active, you are in fight, so you cannot swap your chest piece. So don't make the mistake of use your on use here on the chest piece, use blood rage and then try to swap your chest. It will not work. You can always cancel blood rage though, so get out of fight again. By the way, a little pro tip: if you use blood rage to keep your rage while the healer like heals you up after a pull in a dungeon, the healer will also be in fight and cannot drink. So be aware of that. For the necklace, you could buy a necklace of the tiger, this one, spectral necklace of the tiger, but as you can see they are way too expensive. So I would not do that. Use your gold for other things, because in the raid you can get high tide choker, which is bis. 7 strength for agility. Strength is usually your best stat. However, if your weapon damage gets higher and higher, agility might pull ahead. So you always want to like bring agility and strength on, like, yeah, a little bit more strength and then agility. If you go for too much strength and you sacrifice too much agility, you're when you have full weight buffs and you have a really high weapon damage, that might be worse for your DPS. Because yeah, your stats on World of Warcraft, they get stronger the more you have from different stats. So if you stack all strength, it's not going to be as good as if you would stack strength and agility together, because yeah, every point, like every time you crit, the value that you gain from strength will be doubled. Yeah. So for your shoulders, there are no bis shoulders that drop from the raid, so you can try to snipe a good tiger piece, I call them, from the auction house. If you type in tiger in the auction house, they will show you all the gear available with the name of the tiger, and this means that those things have agility and strength on them. For example, those shoulders here have 5 agility and 5 strength, so they are extremely powerful and they cost 22 gold. Wonder how you can farm gold? If you reach max level, like the last 5 levels or so, you should level with dungeon grinding, and then you have all the quests still available to you. If you complete the quest while you're at max level, so you can't get any XP, the XP you lose basically will be converted into gold. So the quests will reward you between 1 and 2 gold. Yeah, and this way you can farm a decent bit of gold. At one point you're gonna be running out of quests, of course. In this case you need to farm stuff, boost people, or make an alt. As for the cloak, you want to maybe buy a good tiger piece again, because in the raid there are no cloaks that are like on the same power level as, for example, this one. However, if you are alliance, I think if you grind honor, you can buy a decent cloak for honor. But grinding honor takes a lot of time, and if you don't enjoy the grind, I would I would suggest you farm gold and buy a good tiger cloak instead, because you will be faster grinding gold, like 20 gold or what, than grinding your honor to the honor you need. And if you don't enjoy the honor grind, it's just going to be a torture. So yeah. Then for your chest piece, you want to have a chest from the raid, and this is this one, Twilight Avengers chain, because you want to get that whole set here: the helmet, the boots, and the chest piece. The alternatives to the chest piece are this one from Wailing Caverns and the crafting one with 14 strength. The crafting one is really expensive though. I mean about 15 gold, so it's not that expensive actually, but yeah, it costs gold. Then you have, for braces, you want to have those for wrists, or the ones from, it's a trash drop in Razorfang Crawl. Those here, they are extremely good, but they, yeah, they're going to be extremely expensive if you can ever see them in the auction house, and yeah, you could farm them yourself with your friends or something. If nothing, you could buy these. But they are also really expensive, so maybe on the wrist slot you just want to use the alternatives. For example, you have those in the raid with 6 strength, and maybe there are even some good tiger pieces that are fairly cheap for wrists. For your weapon, you want to, yeah, obviously the best weapon is this one here, Deadly Strike of the Hydra. And if you are a human, before you step into the raid, you have a nice hammer that you can use from Dead Mines. Smite's Hammer, 11 strength for agility. It's fairly slow with a 3.5 seconds attack speed, so this is a really strong weapon. If you are hard, like Orc, you want to buy a good axe from the auction house. Those here, the brutal war axes, they are extremely strong. They have 3.6 attack speed, which is extremely slow, and therefore they make your Wind Fury attacks really count. And some of them, here for example of the tiger, is strength and agility. This one is kinda expensive. But yesterday I saw one of those axes of strength, like brutal war axe of strength. This one, for 5 gold. So now it's 15, but at that point it was 5 gold. And you can also just go for like of the beer or anything that has strength as your prebis. Like you don't really have to pay too much gold for prebis stuff. Just look out for a good, slow, two-handed axe that has like decent stats if you're an orc. If you're alliance, like I said, try to go for Smite's Hammer, and basically if you are anything but an orc, you can go for Smite's Hammer, I guess. So, and then for gloves, those here are bis, unless you are leatherworking and you can get your hands on the epic crafting gloves. The crafting gloves are very nice if the active is ready. It has a long cooldown, so it's not always ready, and if the active, like the on use, is ready, they are probably bis, but if not, these here are better. Then this one is bis, the Cobra Grasp from Wailing Caverns, and these here are, I think, pre-raid bis for Horde at least, and they also drop from the same boss Lord Cobran in Wailing Caverns. Lord Cobran is like the first or second boss, depend on how you path, and you can farm him solo if you're level 25 and you have some decent gear, like some of your pre-bis already, and maybe you bought a nice weapon from the auction house, or you have Smite's Hammer. You can do it solo. However, the run takes some practice, so prepare to die. And yeah, you can always do them with your friends together if you don't want to go through the hassle of doing it yourself. And for the boots, I have some nice tiger boots because they were kinda cheap, but your biz boots are obviously from this set. These here. If you don't get the set boots, anything that has high strength and a little bit of agility works very fine. Or very well. So for one of the rings, you can have this one from Shadowfang Keep, the second boss, I think. So you can even target farm it, like kinda fast, go in, kill the boss, reset. But I don't think you can do it alone on a warrior, so you would need to have people that help you. Maybe you get a group for that. Here it says it has 19% drop chance, but I don't believe that because I saw the ring only twice in all of my grind from level 21 to 25. I did nothing else than Shadowfang Keep from 21 to 25, so I don't know if I was just really unlucky or if this ring is just more rare than it says. Then for your rings, for the other ring, I mean, this one is horde only. You get this from a quest, like a drop quest, and the quest drops from the priestess in and before Blackfeather and Deeps. Also, you can farm this solo, like you go in, you try to find a spot that is not directly on the path where everyone is running into the raid, and while there is horde and alliance and everyone is fighting and whatnot, you can try to snipe one or two priestess for yourself to obtain this quest. It's kind of a hassle, but this ring is biz, uncontested, so yeah, I think it's worth. Now your range weapon, stat stick, from the raid. There's one with strength, I think. Yeah, here you have one with 5 strength and 6 agility. This one might be better than the 5 strength if your weapon damage goes really, really high at the end, like when you have all your pieces. I think right now I'm pretty much at this point where agility might be worth more DPS. I have to figure that one out for myself. Okay, so that's it for gearing. A lot of the things you can buy with tiger pieces, they can be very expensive. You should maybe not buy them if they cost more than 20 gold, especially not if they are biz. Like on the shoulders, you can pay a lot of money. On the cloak, if you're not alliance, you can also pay a lot of money. Yeah, there's one more cloak I wanted to talk about. This is the Wild Hunter cloak. It's at 18 attack power when fighting beasts. So this is biz against beasts. There are 2 beast bosses in the raid. This is the second and the last. And I think this is only obtainable for Horde. But yeah, against those 2 bosses, this is biz. Fun fact, I was 2 times I was in the raid. And yeah, I forgot to change my cloak every single time. So yeah, there's some great value I got out of this cloak, but it's there and it theoretically miss for those 2 fights. Okay, so we talked about that sweet loot and now we can talk about consumables and world buffs. So yeah, for consumables you want to get 2 strength consumables, ideally, if you want to pump. And this is Elixir of Ogre Strength and Elixir of Giant Growth. Because they stack. Elixir of Giant Growth only holds up for 2 minutes, so you might have to use 2 in one fight. But yeah. So there's one more alternative of strength. That's not... Scroll of Strength 2 is one alternative to your potion, but as you can see they are extremely expensive and the only thing you gain from this scroll is 1 strength. Because they provide 9 strength while your Elixir of Ogre Strength gives you 8 strength and they don't stack, so you can only use one of them, one of those, and yeah, those are fairly cheap here. Ogre Strength 18 silver and the scroll was like 1 gold 50, which is right now is a little bit a lot. I think someone flipped it those or something, but yeah. And then for agility, it's the same story. almost. You can buy elixirs of agility or scrolls of agility. Usually the agility consumables are more expensive than the strength consumables. Right now it's not, because some asshole increased the price of the scrolls of strength. But yeah, and the elixir of lesser agility is, yeah, oh no, this is the scroll again. It's more expensive. So agility gives you, maybe, depend on your gear, less DPS, so you want to consider even using them. And yeah, for your infight potion, you want to have a rage potion at the start of the fight and maybe at the end of the fight for your execute phase. Yeah, healing potions, obviously. The higher you have, the better. Like, I recommend having a lot of them, or a lot of healing potions, like the normal ones here. And then also get some of the bigger healing potions, just in case. Like, if the healing, these here, they are like more expensive, but if you can carry like 3 of them in every raid, you don't really have to use them, just have them on you, and if the situation calls for it, you can go for a bigger healing potion, if that makes sense. In any other situation, you would just use the normal healing potion. And then you want to maybe have some shadow protection potions for the Pram ultimate boss, because in the last phase, if everyone uses a shadow protection potion, the boss is pretty much free loot. So yeah, but free is a nice term here, because the potions cost 1 gold, so it's not really free, it's like 1 gold per person for the loot. So yeah, and don't use them on your own. Like, if you are in a pack and you have them on you, don't just pop them. Wait, if everyone uses them and yeah, the raid leader calls for a shadow protection potion, then you use them. Don't just use them if you're the only person, because in this case your potion most likely will not change anything in the outcome of the fight. What am I doing at my bank? I have no idea. Ah yeah, bandages, obviously. The highest bandage you can get your hands on is always your best bandage. In some fights, some situations, when the healer have no more mana and the only mana they have left is reserved for the tank, you can, those bandages and healing potions can go a long way in these situations. And yeah, for world buffs, we have 2 right now that we can get, I think. And this is, right now we can get the Sage Dark Moon Fortune, which is like 10% more damage. Wait, I will use this chrono thing here to show you exactly how it's done. So right now I have this one, increases my damage done by 10%, and I have this one, increases critical strike chance of spells and spells melee and range by 2%, granting 20 attack power and increased movement speed by 20%. So this is also extremely strong, and you can save those buffs, like you get them. This one you get if someone turns in the crest from Blackfeather Deeps in Thunderbluff, I think, and this one you will soon not be able to get anymore. You can Google this, how and when you can get this, but basically on like a Regent vendor like this guy, you can buy this Chrono Boon Displacer, and when you have world buffs active, if you die, they're going to be gone. So to save them, you can use this Chrono Boon Displacer that you can buy on the Regen vendor, and now they are saved. And if you use this item, they will be active again. So right now they don't lose any duration, and if I die, they will still be saved. So yeah, don't run in the raid without having your world buffs chrono booned, because especially if you're on a PvP server, and then you just get them out in the raid. At the start of the raid, if you want to try to pump the whole raid, or on a specific boss where you might struggle, yeah, your decision. One more consumable I forgot is the sharpening stone, like black feather sharpening stone, which increases your hit chance by 2%, and this is pretty huge, and you always want to have some of them on you. Keep in mind that I don't work with Wind Fury or Wild Strikes, so if you have a Druid, a Feral Druid with Wild Strikes in your raid group, don't use those sharpening stones, because this would be like a DPS decrease. Alright, that's it for gearing, buffs and consumables. As always, I hope you learned something. The next video is going to be about tanking in like low to mid level. I don't know how I want to structure the video, but it's going to be about tanking because it got requested as well. So yeah, see you then and stay tuned. Take care.